Hello, recently I was sunning myself on the beautiful Canary Island of Fuerteventura, and it was very nice. Tan's gone now, but being young as I am, while I was just sort of sunning myself, I did what young people do, and one of those things was just browse Facebook, and I browsed Facebook Marketplace, and I found a guy selling this. A Lima Shunter. Now, I have a Lima Shunter on my layout already, and it's one of my favourite locos, as well you know. And he was selling this for £10. So I messaged him and said, what else have you got that you might be willing to sell? And he actually had some decent stuff. He actually had a networker set, one of the old Hornby networkers from about the year 2000. He was selling for £20, but I missed out on that one. I don't know if perhaps like this guy's granddad had died or something and he didn't know how much things he had were worth. But anyway, what I got, I didn't pay him £10, I paid him £40. And what I got for my £40 was this Lima Shunter. This Hornby Class 37 in the rail freight livery. First thing I've got in the rail freight livery, and it is very nice. I mean, this is in reasonable condition. I suppose I should show the condition of the other one, which is absolutely fine as far as I can tell, other than this mark here on the top, which seems to be more sort of glue than like a burn, so I'm sure I'll be able to get that off. And that runs okay. Got this rail freight 37, which is jerky runner. Now this was £5 he wanted for this. £5! Wow. It has got sort of a smashed end head coat boards. It's missing buffers on that end, but I mean, if you just put it that end forward and pretend the other end isn't there, that's great. But we can have a look at that. I also got, for my £40, this. Now this is an Airfix Class 31. Now I've never had anything Airfix, and I'm quite curious to crack into this and have a look at how it works, because it doesn't run brilliantly. It's okay, but it has some what I would seem sort of questionable decisions potentially. I mean, I've never noticed like this is a sort of a shaved off fake axle, and these are plastic. All the picking up is done on this one bogey here, but it's really heavy actually. It's a really nice loco. That decoration's not great. That's sort of peeling off there, but that's peeling off on that end as well. But for the cost, £10 this one was as well. Love that. And also, for my £40, I got this, which I think is Class 28, 29, Hornby Class 28 and 29. Very nice. Now, you might notice that lot, £10, £10, £10, £5, doesn't actually add up to £40, it adds up to 35. My brother, who very kindly went to not actually that close to me, he I messaged him and said, look, can you just go and pick this stuff up from this guy? And it's about 20 miles away, it's one way. Yeah, sure, no problem. And he went and did it. That's legend. What a great guy. He had to get the cash out on the way. Cash machines rarely dispense fivers, certainly around here. And this guy that I brought this off had previously sent me a picture of a box set he had. Obviously, I asked him what else he had. In that box set was an extra wagon. It was one of the SC wagons that I collect. And I said, look, mate, I'll give you 40 quid if you if you include the wagon as well, and deal. So £40 for 4 locos and a wagon. I mean, that's amazing prices. Now, all of these need a little bit of work, so we're going to look at doing some of that in a series of videos, actually. I'm not going to do them all in one, because the last couple of videos I've done have just gone on and on and on. So we're going to address one of them today, and that's this one. So let me just move these out of the way. Now, I noticed something odd with this. He said the body didn't sit on it right, and indeed he is right. It's sort of bulging out along it, and the body isn't sat on it right, and the couplings are very sort of far recessed into the bogies, and that's because I noticed, first thing, turned upside down, Lima, Italy. So this is a Lima chassis. This is not a Lima body. This is a Hornby body. If you look inside, you can just see there R80 or R080. 080. This is on the wrong chassis. Now, in a box of my dad's things, and I promise this is true, it's not sort of YouTube magic, I have this body. Can you see where we're going with this, with the curved ends? The curved end. This is the correct body for this chassis. I think this is a 25 or a 26, not entirely sure. It's not glazed, but you make glazing with used food packaging, things like that. So I can glaze it. It's not great. I mean, it's got a little scuff on it, there, and I think one of these ends is actually cracked, which I've had to glue. But this is a prime candidate for something that's going to get weathered a bit to hide a lot of that. If I just test how this runs on the power supply, let's turn it up a bit, and let's see, there we go. Oh dear. I might have shorted the controller out there, because I did actually touch these two ends together. Oops. It's going to play up now. It's worked before. Let's put this on the layout and come back to this. Now, there's been a bit of change on the layout here. You can see the hill at the back has been plaster bandaged. Now, I have done a video about that. I don't know if it's up yet. I don't know what order these are going to go up in, but there's a video about that. But if I bring the current train there round, which is the train of SC wagons, if you are especially interested, the one that came from this bundle is the one on the front. It's being pulled by the Kerr Stuart Victory from Planet Industrials, which is probably my favourite tank engine ever, in model form anyway, and it's mainly because my girlfriend brought it for me, which is nice, isn't it? Right, let's go and take this off. I'll pop this on. I tend to do these anything ring-filled, the drive bogey forwards. I don't know why. It's my preference. This is on the HM2000 controller, this layout. You can see it even with the wide angle lens. Now it is. It's exploded into life. Try and rein it down a little bit. Now the chassis is missing a traction tyre, which is why it's wobbling a little bit. Like you can sort of see it is. It does need a bit of a service, or potentially just running in actually, to be honest with you, because I don't know how, obviously buying them as I did, I don't know when these were last run. It stopped, so I'm going to turn the power supply off. Uh-oh. It's a dog. Should get Merlin involved. Come on, boy. Come over here, boy. Hello. You like trains, don't you? He stands like this and watches the layout. Sometimes it's weird. Anyway, yeah, that needs a little bit of a service, but I only have one set of carbon brushes left at the moment, and I want to do the Rail Freight 37 first. So that may be it for now. We'll come back to that as and when that gets done. Right, so just going to run this in on the Hornby Rolling Road and see if that improves performance. So I'll probably do the standard new model run-in of half an hour in each direction. So let's just get this started. I'll turn it up to 1 on the R915 controller, and it is sort of quite smoothly. I mean, it's sort of rocking, but it's working quite smoothly. We'll turn it up to about 50%, which is what they'd always advise, and let that run in. Right, we'll come back to this in an hour. Right, it is back on the track. It is another day, and I am a bit laissez-faire with things like this. Right, on the track, just going to see if it runs. I think the old Lima stuff doesn't tend to ever run particularly slowly, so I'm going to factor that into my expectations. Let's sort of get this moving. Woo. This is quite a common thing with older models needing a little bit of a shove, and it is in effect really because this needs a proper service in terms of having its pickups cleaned and carbon brushes changed. It's not something I overly want to do now, effectively because I only have one set of carbon brushes on hand and I want to do that to one of the other models that has arrived. But I mean, for now, for me, for what I will use it for, that is fine. I will add glazing and things to it, but that's not really restoring a model, that's modifying a model, so that's maybe for another time. I mean, I'm happy with how this is running, ish. Yeah, so this is sort of the model I would say is sort of as good as going. Now it's been going for a while, I should be able to sort of turn it down a little bit when it sort of perform reasonably well. Very loud, say carbon brushes needed. But that's one for another time. I won't do that for the Class 37 mainly because it's something that's a bit new to me. It's a bit big. It'll be sort of one of the biggest diesels I have, and that's sort of a Hornby Ringfield, so it's more of a classic how-to video, if nothing else. So I'm happy with this for now. At some point off camera, I will clean up the pickups, which is pretty boring. There's not really anything to show with that, and replace the carbon brushes. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I hope any of that is audible, because it certainly wasn't in my own head with this ripping around. So yeah, that's it for this one, I think.